The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros is Matchroom Boxing and Michael Hunter. And I'll turn to this article, which basically says Michael Hunter enters free agency as Matchroom Boxing opts not to renew his contract. And basically, Hunter was told by Matchroom Boxing CEO Frank Smith on Wednesday that he will no longer be a part of the promotional outfit's plans moving forward. The fighter told BoxingScene.com, "It's all good. That's just how life moves. It's a business move. Nothing is ever promised, and you know what the next move will be." Hunter told BoxingScene.com, "I don't want to be fighting for someone who doesn't want me anyway. We did not make him a new offer following the expiration of his contract," Hearn told Boxing Scene. "There is a lot of heavyweight congestion, and with the current issues and backlog, I don't feel we could ever deliver him fights with our outstanding obligations within the division." So that was Hearn's reasoning. Gee, what are your thoughts on this?
All right. I got to look at it from two perspectives. From a business standpoint, I actually agree with Eddie Hearn. But this is conspiracy speaking right now.
Okay.
1000% disagree with Eddie.
How many sides do you get? That's all.
Yo, man, listen, just give me two.
I know, play one corner, man.
Argument you
Play one corner of the square.
Hey, listen.
I want that too.
Well, then God bless. Go do what you gotta do, but let me do me right now. All right, I'm jumping off the 13th floor.
All right.
This is why I have issues with what Eddie has said. Because I'm like, what heavyweight congestion you talking about? Because again, remember, this is DAZN. This isn't Matchroom. This isn't DAZN UK, right? DAZN was supposed to be Matchroom for the USA. So now when you look at their roster, right? We got Usyk, not American. We got Dillian White, not American. We got Derek Chisora, not American. We got Joseph Parker, not American. We got Anthony Joshua, not American. And we got Alexander Povetkin, not American. Not one of these dudes are American. However, you're trying to sell DAZN to the American audience. Now, I could see people saying, well, he's just not a big name. He's not a big draw, this and the third. I get it. However, you're talking about a guy who only lost to Alexander Usyk, right? And he drew with Povetkin. And then let me be honest. The draw didn't help his career, right? I would say he should have won, because how you get a draw with a 39-year-old, it's not a good look. So I could understand that argument. But however,
let me ask you a question, bro. Just why you're saying that. He drawed with Alexander Povetkin. But do you feel like it would be a bad thing if Usyk drawed with Alexander Povetkin? I mean, look at how Usyk looked against Chaz Witherspoon. Do you think – I think Michael Hunter would clean Chaz Witherspoon's clock.
Yeah, thank you. That's what I'm saying. You going to give him – at least Povetkin's still a top 10 fighter. So, Hunter – this is my conspiracy. I didn't even get to go to my conspiracy. All right. My conspiracy is this. They had to get rid of Hunter because Hunter's not necessarily a big name, but he's still a big threat. So then now, when you got all of these other names that I've mentioned, right, these are like, for the most part, these guys are known in big boxing markets, right? Hunter, not so much, but Hunter got the skills to beat any of these guys on any given day, right? And so when you're thinking about it, it's like, hey, I got these guys that are already pretty much stars, and we got a guy that's not necessarily a star, but he is a threat. What do you do with him? Eddie and DAZN, they took the get rid of him route, right? Which financially, I'm like, you didn't necessarily have to get rid of him because I'm pretty sure he wasn't paying him that much anyways, right? You could have kept him around. He could be that dude. He doesn't have to, be the main attraction of a fight card. But you could have him like right before the main event or something. You could do a number of things with Michael Hunter, right? And not to mention, you could utilize Michael Hunter as, let's just say, somebody that you have like a big fight, and then one person gets popped for PED use or something. Yo, he's a big enough name where you could fill him in, and people be like, yo, I still want to see that fight. You see what I'm saying? So he has a lot of use, especially for DAZN, especially seeing that DAZN is supposed to be for the United States, and DAZN doesn't currently have any U.S. heavyweight fighters on their roster. So that's why I'm like, I feel like he's a threat, and so they had to get rid of him. But I also feel like you should have never got rid of him anyways because he's American, and you need some type of American fighter to sell to DAZN. If that was your original mission anyways, was to bring boxing a platform to the United States, you need U.S. fighters to do that.
All right. I mean, not bad. I'll give my take on it when it's my turn. True.
All right. Well, hop in the car with me and let's ride.
Walk, driving.
We're gonna ride. We're gonna take a long ride right now. We're gonna put on some oldie but goodies and we're gonna ride. I believe that, you know, DAZN, when they say that the DAZN was for the USA, DAZN was to bring, you know, fights, have their company in the USA. You know what I'm saying? Have a company in the USA. Not so much to have nothing but US fighters, you know, USA fighters. I think it was just bringing their company over here and us getting some of that entertainment factor that he be putting on in the UK. I think this is what Matchroom and Eddie Hearn is about. They're about getting the guys with the big personalities and the guys who are the champions and who got a following and who has countries and stuff behind them, like other promotion teams. Michael Hunter doesn't have that big of a personality. I'm not saying that they didn't want an American heavyweight. Hell, they tried to get Deontay Wilder, but he didn't want 120 million. So, you know what I'm saying? It's not for a lack of trying to get an American heavyweight. And then look, they tried to get Big Pharma Miller, but the junkie couldn't stay clean. So, and we're talking about two guys with big personalities. You know what I'm saying? One don't know about the bread, and one can't keep his hands off the drugs. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
and they gave Andy Ruiz a shot at Joshua.
Listen, and he gave Andy Ruiz a shot at, and then Andy Ruiz couldn't keep his hands off the burgers. This is,
I'm about to say the cookie jar, but okay.
You know what I'm saying? This is crazy. This is crazy. He tried. This is not for lack of trying to have an American heavyweight on the roster. These guys just can't do it. He done try. He wants somebody that's going to be exciting. I'm not mad. Why waste money on a guy who, when you interview him, he's like, no, I'm going to try to get my best. That's all. No, you want somebody that's going to sell tickets and going to put some behinds in seats. And unfortunately, some guys ain't cutting it. But Eddie done tried. He done tried. He done tried to bring United States stars over to the zone. He done been trying to pay big money. Guys didn't want to leave their former their former promoters. They didn't want to leave their old promoters. They didn't want to. You know what I'm saying? They was like, Al Heyman doing good by me. De La Hoya doing good by me. Bob doing good by me. But not for a lack of trying. He tried to get a lot of stars, but they wasn't budging. He was even overpaying. Eddie was even overpaying.
And now they broke. Or they about to be broke. That's what they got to get let go.
So is PBC though. See, we're
gonna talk about that next.
I love how these PBC heads will gladly like Complex. Oh, and the zone's going broke. So is PBC.
It's just boxing right now. It's just not. It's not lucrative. That's all.
Like, yo, people are funny.
We're gonna get into PBC going broke later.
So Ned.
G, first I disagree with G. Like the zone, they already had they know how to promote boxing or their app here in America. They did it with the Logan Paul, or was it Logan Paul and KSI thing where that was a big draw. I just think it's with the times, yo. It's like Michael Hunter, you're not a big draw. We got so many fighters here. We got so many fights we got to set up right now, and it's a necessary stretch to manage you as well. So it's just go see if you could be great somewhere else, which go test your value on the market. But this is just business, man. There's nothing. You don't read too deep into it.
We're downsizing.
It is downsizing, you know. So.
So let me ask y'all a question, because I can see what y'all saying. This whole downsizing thing. But who you think these stars are gonna be fighting up against? You think they're gonna the zone gonna match these dudes up with each other? I don't think they're gonna do that. I don't think
finally fight each other.
Why not?
They keep the lights on.
All right.
Cab drivers.
Yo, listen.
Janitors. Come on, Trail. Who's the guy who cut your hair?
We are gonna stop calling fighters who
drivers.
have a day job taxi drivers and janitors. We are just gonna call them
Essential workers.
someone with a day job. That's what
They
we're
gonna call G. They gonna call you G.
Listen, that money right. Hey, you
call
can
me. I'll take it. The money right out.
money right. Hey,
the money ain't gonna be right. You
Zone
know,
Boxing Bros. Let's say, let's get
they
it.
gonna be like, I give you 20 racks.
That ain't enough.
I need more than that, bro. 20 racks ain't gonna give me.
Yo, never do that.
Well, then they gonna get somebody. They gonna, you know the zone. They'll fly somebody in from Africa to come get that 20 racks. You know what I'm saying?
And but then it goes into now you're gonna create these illusions of quality fights when we all know this.
I don't think that's what they're gonna do.
That's gonna make the ones fight each other. It's time for the big fight.
I hope that happens. And
Eddie already said it, bro. He said the days of getting paid to fight easy fights are over. I think this is the first step in that direction.
I would love to come back on this show and say, you know what, I was wrong. The zone, they actually found a formula.
Bro, why? Yo, Eddie Hearn to me, this is insane. And Ned, are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Yo, Eddie Hearn's been a guy who's taken risks since I can remember. He took Kell Brook, a guy he could have easily milked by giving him easy fights and let him go up 2 weight classes to fight Triple G. When Anthony Joshua had no opponent because Gerald Big Baby Miller couldn't stay clean, they could have taken an easier fight than Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz looked great in his fight against Thermotrenko. I remember Andy Ruiz, I watched that fight. I was like, damn, he looked good. And then he pulled out a Snickers and he talking about, I always eat a Snickers, you know. So, listen, they could have taken easy fights. And you know this, G, because you are part of Boxing Bros, and you know what I sent to the group chat. I kept saying, why the hell they take this guy? Like, I'm like, look at his hand speed. Look at him in the gym. I was like, yo, I hope they see this. Remember, I'm like, yo, I hope they're watching this. Like, I would say that. Like, I hope they're watching this. Like, this guy is no slouch. And then you had a very motivated man because he knew the opportunity that was in front of him. To say it's because they need American heavyweight on the roster, I don't agree with that. Here's what I will agree with. Michael Hunter doesn't get the credit he should get. When you look at what he's accomplished in the heavyweight division, I feel like if you took his accomplishments in the heavyweight division and gave it to Alexander Usyk, they would be drooling over him. Mm-hmm. And Alexander Usyk beat Michael Hunter when they were cruiserweights, but they're in the heavyweight division and people get better. People change. Like Dillian White, for example. Joshua beat him when they fought. But if they had a rematch, will it look the same? A lot of people believe Dillian White's gotten better. And Joshua's gotten better for the record. But still, you never know. Good fighters are good fighters. So I think Alexander Usyk is a good fighter. The only point I'm making is he didn't look that good against Chaz Witherspoon, and he's still the #1 contender for this belt. And he's still ranked higher than Michael Hunter for the WBC belt. And I saw Michael Hunter look better than Anthony Joshua did in the first 2 rounds against Alexander Povetkin. Alexander Povetkin right now is about to fight Dillian White. And let's see how Dillian White does with him. But what I'm saying,
get him out of there.
Yeah, I think Dillian's going to get him out of there. But my point is, Povetkin fought Joshua. Joshua did his thing. But Michael Hunter looked like he was about to take Povetkin out early, and I still think Povetkin used smelling salts. When I watched the fight, it looked like they gave him smelling salts after he was about to go. It turned out to be a good fight, and it ended up being a draw, a controversial draw, but nonetheless, it was a draw. But to me, that solidifies Michael Hunter at the heavyweight division, a guy who came from the cruiserweight division and fought a pretty solid opponent, and he drawed with him, and he was.
But that's what I'm saying.
I had him winning.
Yo, listen, I agree with everything Kaden just said.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why let him go?
Because we just like Kaden.
You go ahead. You go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just saying, he does not put behinds in seats. He is not a draw. They over here. This is the entertain. This is not only boxing. This is entertainment. He doesn't have no country behind him. It's only us champing for him right now.
So yeah,
Right.
basically, I do agree. He has a resume that should be respected. In terms of if you gave it to some of these other fighters who are ranked, I feel like, they'd get more credit. But here's the thing. And it's like Trill said, Michael Hunter can't sell out an arena. He doesn't have the whole entire United States behind him. When you look at Povetkin has more fans. Povetkin has a bigger name. More people are going to tune in to see Dillian White versus Povetkin than they would to see Dillian White versus Michael Hunter. Fact. More people are going to tune in to see Dillian White versus Joseph Parker in a rematch than they would to see Dillian White versus Michael Hunter. Fact. More people are going to tune in to see Dillian White versus Anthony Joshua in a rematch. Fact. Than they are to see him versus Michael Hunter. More people are going to tune in to see Dillian White in a trilogy with Derek Chisora than they would to see Dillian White versus Michael Hunter. Fact.
Haters.
The way I just broke this, that's a fact.
No, I agree with you.
The way
I'm just saying people be hating on skill.
So the way I just broke this down, what is Michael Hunter's value to them? When they can make rematches in trilogies that would sell more than the actual fight with Michael Hunter.
I agree with you. That's the sad part.
Okay.
It just sucks. I'm just saying. This is supposed to be DAZN, not Matchroom. You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
And don't get me started because I didn't mention Usyk. Now, you add Usyk to all those fights and you're talking blockbuster. You're talking a blockbuster. You're talking about Usyk versus Dillian White, everyone's watching. You're talking about Usyk versus Anthony Joshua, everyone's watching. You're talking about Usyk versus Joseph Parker, everyone's watching. Usyk versus Michael Hunter, we already seen it. Usyk won, and we'll watch it again. And I'm not saying it's not a good fight. I'm not saying it's not a competitive fight. Hell, it is a dangerous fight for Usyk, but the reward's just not there.
All right, so this walk me on this then.
All right.
This is where I have to give Al Heyman his just due. Because we may clown Al, but at least Al knows how to build his fighters. You have to give him that. Because I agree with you. I feel like the DAZN strategy is to recruit already established fighters, right? That's cool. But what you're doing is you're pretty much recruiting PBC and top-ranked fighters and bringing them over to the DAZN. Hunter was a unique case, you know what I mean? So because he doesn't have that following, I get what y'all are saying. My suggestion is, Hunter, go to PBC because at least with PBC, they will build you up. If they could build up, what's homeboy name, Nigerian brother, Jaffa, F.A., right? If they could build up F.A.
Don't build that.
Listen, if they could do that for F.A.,
how are they building them up? They're not
building them up.
F.A. Jabba.
Nobody knows who he is.
F.A. They put F.A.
You didn't even know his name just now.
I had a brain fart.
No, you didn't have a brain fart.
I had a brain fart.
Stop. You didn't even know his name just now.
Yes, I did.
You didn't. You had to ask his name.
A quick second.
Hold on. Let's do this like it's in court. Just yes or no.
Yes, I messed up.
You not had to ask his name. Yes or no.
Yes. However,
typically, hold on. And typically,
no Wilder's name.
Hold on. And typically, when you have to ask a question about something, it's because you don't know.
It's not because you don't know. You forgot.
No, you not.
I know who this guy is, man.
You didn't know his name. You didn't know his name.
Look.
It would help.
Let
me prove my point. And then y'all can shred it all y'all want.
Your point's dead already. You didn't even know his name.
No. What I'm saying is PBC actually provides the platform for these no-name guys to be viewed by millions of people. That's all I'm saying. It's true because you just look at the Fox viewership. It's like it's always in the millions with those little fights because they're free. You're on regular television for free. Hunter needs that right now so he could build his name. He's not going to be able to do that with DAZN, so it makes sense why they had to cut him. But where can he go? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think the smartest route, not the only, but the smartest route would be to sign with PBC, because at least you know PBC will get you on Fox, which is in pretty much everybody's household. And so you could build your name from there, just like they're doing with FA, just like they're doing with Kaunowski. They even hooked up Gerald Washington. And Gerald Washington ain't no elite level fighter either. But they put these dudes on constant rotation for the world to see, or at least for the United States to see. That's what Hunter, I think, needs to do. Then go to PBC and get your weight up.
Nah, bro. You named only 2 fighters, right? And Kaunowski, he has his people been following him before Al hopped on the bandwagon with him.
Al just got him beat.
You know what I'm saying? And then that whole Al Jaffe dude, like, just because you push somebody,
Y'all not gonna watch like that.
Al just got him beat. Al just threw him in there with Robert Helenius.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, he's gonna be easy.
Yep.
It's gonna be easy fight for you.
He got him knocked out in front of his fans.
Stop it, man. Helenius stopped that hype train.
And all the other stuff, and all the other stars were already stars thanks to Golden Boy.
Hey,
all right, so let me get it back. Let me get it back because
go ahead.
I wasn't finished. All right, check this out. I agree, but Hunter isn't gonna put people in the seats, and you can go through the matchups like I just did, and he's not gonna be a draw, right? But I will say this: not that PBC could promote him better, but it is a shortcoming, and it does reflect the shortcoming of Matchroom Boxing. And here's why. Michael Hunter has a story that would make him the darling of America, at least in the African American community, because his father was murdered by a LA police officer. His father's a former fighter who was a decent fighter, a contender, and his father was murdered by the LAPD. And if you did justice to his story, and if you sold him correctly, Michael Hunter would be a guy that the African American community would get behind.
Especially right now.
Especially right now. But you dropped the ball, Eddie Hearn, mainly maybe because you're from the UK. Well, I don't know. But he has a story that you could have pushed and you could have made him a big time star. And I'm giving free game to whomever may grab him. You may want to push this story about him. Bingo. You may want to push that. You may want to get this guy out talking about his experience of having to grow up without his father being there because he was killed by a police officer.
Al's on it.
And now put some butts in seats.
You may want to do that, right? And you may want to, think about it. And so I'd say this. You had the opportunity to make a star, Eddie, but you didn't. And I get it. He's a dangerous fighter, all types of things, but you have to think about the market. You have to think about what's going on. You have to think about it. And could you imagine playing his story before a fight right now with what's happening around the world?
Thank you.
You dropped the ball big time, brother. And so all I'm saying is you have to think about certain things as a promotional team. And so you have Al Heyman. I don't think Al Heyman is some mastermind. I don't think Al Heyman is some great. If he was, Wilder would be doing better. They wouldn't be losing money in a Fury versus Wilder rematch. That stuff wouldn't be happening if he was some great promoter. But when it comes to Michael Hunter, what his team needs to decide is if they even, the way it is a lock on the game. So being freed from your contract could be a great thing. You could be your own boss. You can be in control of your own career. The problem is no one's going to let him fight their fighters as a free agent.
Exactly.
No one's going to let him fight their fighters as a free agent. All the belts, majority of the belts are with Matchroom, and he was just with Matchroom. If I was Michael Hunter, there's really a lot to think about. But if I was Eddie Hearn, I'd rethink this because I think Michael Hunter has a story that you could sell.
You can exploit.
Yes. What's going on right now, you can sell that story.
Like, you mean exploit, not sell, exploit.
Well, that's what I mean by sell. I'm not regardless of what your opinions are, what your personal views are, whatever, I'm not here to get into that. That's not what I'm doing. If I was on the DAZN's team for promoting fighters and on Matchroom Boxing team for promoting fighters and pushing fighters, I would tell them you're missing a huge opportunity to capitalize on what's taking place in America and around the world.
Exactly.
You're missing out on dollars letting this guy go. And you know what? Maybe you should reconsider. That's all I'm saying.
Let us know how you feel in the comments section. Please like and subscribe, and check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Also, check out our podcast on all major streaming services. This is the Boxing Bros.